Hey Flosstube, wow. It is Monday, March 7th, and I am filming my first Flosstube video in a month, and I'm going to put this pen down because I keep playing about with it. But yeah, I haven't filmed a video in a month, and to be honest, I haven't really been stitching much in the last month. I do have some stitching to show, but mostly, so I'll show that in this video. I'm planning on filming a couple of videos because I have quite a bit of haul and stash acquisitions to show, so I think I'm going to do that in a separate video rather than trying to fit it all into one and rushing, because it's been a while and I've missed filming. I've wanted to film, but I kind of felt like I didn't have a lot to talk about, so it was kind of easy to keep just putting off filming. But hopefully it won't be quite so long next time. So yeah, this time round I am going to show off the little bit of stitching that I have done. I say I've not done a lot of stitching. I've done a fair amount on certain projects, and then there are other projects that I really need to start getting back into because I haven't touched them since January or last year. But I've managed to keep up with some things. So yeah, I have some stitching updates to show you. I'm going to do Kate, Queen of Starts Pearl tag in this video, and yeah, I just have a few other things that I want to talk about that have been going on in February, which is why I haven't posted in quite so long either. So we'll start with the stitching updates. So stitching updates, they're in the wrong place. Yeah. I thought I was more organised than this. Apparently I'm not. So I'll start with the last thing that I finished in February, which was my Mythical Creatures calendar. So we're kind of getting there. I finished off January. I finally got the centaur finished in the middle there, just stitched as charted. And I did my February block as well. Just there. So I actually stitched the cauldron with a satin thread, and I stitched the crown with a petite treasure braid, and I changed the bottles up just there after one of the girls in the Facebook group posted a conversion for the bottles that she was going to do, and I kind of pinched her idea. And then I carried on stitching the border for March. I haven't actually started March yet. I've been working on the pumpkin passport, and I don't want to start doing this one until I finish that one, because that's the one that seems to take me longer. But yeah, still really loving this design, really can't wait to get back into it. So there we go. This is being stitched on 28 count Jobelin in Moonlight by Pole Stitches, and I have a petite princess aerial needle minder from Nifty Needle Nannies. Just there. Next up, I've been working on this one recently, so there's a lot more progress here than what was stitched in February. I can't get into the bag. These Ziploc bags are terrible for me. Let me in. There we go. And there goes my notebook. I'm not doing so well today. But this is my pumpkin passport. I've almost finished the March section as well. We went to Holland, the Netherlands, sorry, in March. So we have the whole of London done, the whole of Paris done. I added a tiny little French flag to the top of the Louvre there. And I'm almost done with March. I just have the rest of these buildings behind the windmill to fill in just here. And I think I'm going to add the Dutch flag. I think it's the Dutch flag. Yeah, the Dutch flag to the top of one of the roofs of these buildings here. And I've started putting in this border along the bottom just here as well. My plan is to keep going with this border every month as the section comes out, and I should start to put in the top border this month as well. Now I know where the top is. Although I quite like it without the top border, I might actually leave it until the first 6 months are done across the top and see how I feel about it then. But yeah, so that's my pumpkin passport. I've not really done any colour changes or anything with this one. I'm quite happy with the way that it's charted. I'm not using any of the hand-dyed threads either. I'm just doing the DMC. And this is being stitched on a 32 count Joblin in Snowdrifts from Hand-Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And I have my London Tour Bus needle minder just there from Nifty Needle Nannies as well. Excuse me while I just pick up my notebook. Got it. So that's that one, that one. Last time we spoke, you may remember that I said I was going to start stitching my own design. Where have I put that? That's over here. I have started it. I've not got an awful lot done. It's just being stitched on a piece of white 28 count even weave. I'm going to show the pattern. It's my pattern, so feel free to steal it if you really want to. But it is that one. This is, I've just called it Love You there, but I'm now calling it Signs That I Love You because it's the British Sign Language, and I think the Americans, it's the sign language for I love you is this symbol just here. So yeah, I'm stitching this up for my parents' 30th wedding anniversary, which is at the end of this month, so I really do need to get back into this. I've just started one of the hands just there, and I have a lollipop needle minder that I made myself just there. It's my first needle minder that I made myself, so kind of proud of that. But yeah, and actually whilst going through my mum's jewellery box, I found something that I'm going to add to this piece. Do I have it in here? Yes, I do. Sorry, it's inside plastic. Where is it? The floss that I'm using is Weeks Dye Works in Love. It's this pretty pinks and reds colour just there. It's really pretty. And the thing that I found in Mum's jewellery box was this tiny little like heart charm just there. And apparently this is one of the first things that my dad bought for my mum when they were first dating. It was originally on a pendant. I think the chain broke a long time ago or got knotted or something. But I just thought it was this really cute little charm just there. And I thought it would be a really nice way to sort of signify the fact that they've been married for 30 years, because that doesn't happen so much these days. So there's that. So I need to get back into that. I think I'm going to make that my lunchtime project, maybe, because I kind of want to... My parents know I'm doing something, but they don't know what exactly. They kind of caught me working on the pattern, and I kind of closed my laptop down before they actually saw the whole thing. So hopefully it'll be a nice surprise for them. And hopefully I can get it finished and framed in time. So that's that one. So that was my new start for February. And then I also had another new start in February and a finish, which was... it's part of the Cross Stitches Surprise Series from Rainbow Gallery. It's a freebie from their website, and it was June's Birthday Smiles. I started this on the 24th of February, and I finished it in the morning on the 25th of February. And the 25th of February was my birthday. So it was my nice little birthday stitch to myself. It's very, very small. And I just stitched it on a scrap of 28 count Joblin. I think it was a Joblin. yeah, a 28 count Jobelin in Rustic Rhubarb by Pole Stitches Designs. This was actually the first piece of even weave I was ever given. I think it was a birthday present from a friend a couple of years ago. It's really washed out on the camera, but it's this really pretty like pink and yellow combination. And I just stitched it using like my favourite colours of DMC because I didn't have any of the rainbow gallery threads it called for. But yeah, it was a really fun little stitch. I think I'm going to go back and put some like silver sparkly thread on the candles, or like some beads on the top of the muffin for like sprinkles or something. It needs something blingy just to finish it off, I think. And then I think I'm going to finish it as like a little wall hanging like ornament or something. Or I might frame it, I don't know. But yeah, I was really proud of that. It didn't take very long to stitch up, and I could see myself sort of stitching it again in like for a birthday card or something with like the recipient's favourite colours or something. So that was that one. So that was my finish for the month. So I got one finish down. So I think that's 3 or 4 finishes for 2016 now. So I've just drawn on myself. And then I think the only other piece that I worked on a tiny little bit was my Triforce design by Sprite Stitch. And I've just added, yeah, I've done a little tiny bit on this. I need to stop leaving needles on my needle minders. But I've just added a little bit more to the sword hilt. Just there, it's not going to show up very well because it's all sparkles. But just there. And this is being stitched. I know it's Yuletide from Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. Ugh. It is a 28 count Jobelin. I think the majority of my fabrics are a 28 count Jobelin at the moment. This is 28 count Jobelin in Yuletide by Stephanie. It's a really pretty green. And then I have a Legend of Zelda needle minder from Minding My Minders, who is sadly on hiatus at the moment, but hopefully she'll be back again soon. And this is another project I really want to get back into, because as much as I thought I hated stitching with metallic, that Petite Treasure braid is so much fun to work with. And it's such a nice design as well. I really want to see it stitched. I really want to see it finished. So that's all of my works in progress for this month. I told you there hadn't been a lot, but still, any type of progress is good progress. The reason why I don't actually have an awful lot of progress is I haven't really been in the mood to stitch. Is pretty much all it boils down to. I'm really struggling to get into that pumpkin passport one. Paris took me way longer than it should have done, and the same with the Mythical Creatures calendar for January. It just took way longer than I expected to for it to take for me to complete that section. So I think my stitchy bug just kind of went away. And then yeah, so as I mentioned, it was my birthday on the 25th of February. I turned 28. And yeah, it was a really nice birthday. I got some really nice stitchy gifts from some friends, which doesn't happen very often. 9 times out of 10, my friends don't like to get me stitch, or they either don't know that I stitch, so they don't get me stitching stuff, or they don't know what I want, so they don't get me stitching stuff. My mum and dad never get me stitching stuff, and my partner has actually bought me a fabric of the month, and it hasn't shown up yet. So I will have a belated birthday present coming at some point. But my stitchy friend, one of my friends from work who does do cross stitch, bought me a DMC Magnetic Board. It is a 7x10 inch. Here it is. It's out of the packet because I've been using it, but it came with these really cool little DMC magnets. So there's a ruler and a skein of floss and a little DMC logo, and I've been using this to hold my pumpkin passport pattern up, because my other one doesn't actually have a stand, so it's quite nice. You can have it that way or you can have it that way. And when I'm not using it to hold a pattern, I will probably end up using it to store needle minders on. Because I've run out of room on my other one. So my two friends from work got me that one, and I absolutely love it. And I was really touched that they bought it. And then the other thing that I got was actually from my nan, and she made it herself, and it's a there we go. It's basically an Orp bag, and it sort of sits on the edge of the table or on the edge of the armchair, and then this bit hangs down, so you can sort of put all your waste bits in there, or you could use it to hold your scissors or your floss if you don't have it on a floss card or something to stop you from losing it. And then it has this really cool little pin cushion just here, and a little magnet so you don't lose your needles. And I thought that was really, really sweet. And then to top it all off, the fabric that she used on this square on the back, because it's like two squares like sandwiched together to hold the tabs in place. And the fabric that she used on the back here belonged to my Auntie Becky. It was part of her fabric stash, which my nan inherited when sort of took charge of when Becky passed away last year. So it's really nice to have something that I can use every day when I'm stitching, knowing that this is something that belonged to my Auntie Becky as well, because I miss her quite a lot. So yeah, I was really, really touched to get that as well, because I know that my nan's made it for me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to using that as well. So for my birthday, me and my partner decided to go to London, because there's quite a few things in London that I've never done before. We went to the Harry Potter studio tour. For those of you that live in the UK, if you're ever in London, I definitely recommend it. It's amazing. And for those of you that don't live in the UK, come to the UK and come and see it, because it's absolutely amazing. It's part of the Warner Brothers Studios. It's part of it's still on like a live film studio, so they're still filming movies there as well. But it's just amazing to see how the films, like the amount of effort that goes into making a film like that, and actually seeing the set pieces and seeing some of the props and some of the costumes. It was just amazing. And my parents really want to go now as well, having seen my photos from there. So I'm really looking forward to going back again with them so that they can see it as well. And then while we were in London, we ended up staying overnight, and the following day after Harry Potter, we went to go and see Wicked, which was amazing. I really, really loved the first book. I kind of agree with Garrett Coffee Stitcher in that the first book is really good, and then the rest of the series is kind of rubbish. But I really want to read the book again. But because I love the book so much, I was like, I really want to go and see the musical. And then when I found out that this year it was the 10th anniversary of it opening in London's West End, I was like, have to go. So we went, and it was amazing. And we were up in the circle, and we were like 4th row from the front of the circle, so we could see the whole stage. And the sound was a little quiet. Couldn't hear a lot of the singing very well. Like we could hear it, but you couldn't hear the words very well. So I have bought the soundtrack CD, so I can learn all the words, and then I'll go back and watch it again. But it was really, really good. I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it to anyone that enjoys that kind of thing. Yeah, it was just kind of interesting to see a different take on The Wizard of Oz. It's the same reason I love Maleficent by Disney. I love seeing classic stories told from a different point of view, if that makes sense. And then while we were in London, we went to Hamleys. It's this huge toy store, for those of you that don't know what Hamleys is. And while we were there, inside there they have a Build-A-Bear workshop, and that's why I now have a giant Pikachu sat behind me, because my partner bought him for me for my birthday. Because I love me some Pokemon. And the day that we went to Hamleys, it was the 27th of February, which was the 20th I want to say. Yeah, 20th anniversary of Pokemon coming out in Japan originally. So I have my squishy Pikachu. He's lovely. He's very soft. And he also got me some game vouchers as well, so I could buy the download copies of Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow. So I'm also playing through Pokemon Yellow, which is the other reason why I've not done so much stitching, because I've been playing Pokemon. Because I could, and it was fun. So yeah. There we go. I'm going to put him back over there, otherwise I'm just going to spend the entire time like mucking around with him. So he can sit over there. He's my new stitching buddy, and he's lush and squishy, and I love him. So yeah, I think that was everything that I wanted to talk about in this video, other than my tag video, which I'm going to have to do really quickly because I've only got about 8 minutes left to record. So as I said, this is the Pearl Tag by Kate, the Queen of Starts. And somewhere I wrote down the questions. Somewhere. There they are. So the Pearl Tag was all the things that irritate you about being a stitcher. So question 1 was, what irritates you most about cross stitch in general and why? Probably the lack of accessibility to American charts here in the UK. Most LNSs don't actually stock them in person. We have to order them from online. And a lot of the UK designers, as much as I love them, are a little bit more, I would say, traditional. American designers seem to be a lot more creative and inventive, and there seems to be something to suit every style of stitcher, whereas over here it's less so. Maybe. I think that might just be me, but that's one of the things that irritates me most about cross stitch. And also the fact that as a younger stitcher, because I've been stitching for so long now, I used to get a lot of stick about it when I was younger. And it doesn't bother me as much as it did then, but it does mean that this is why I don't get a lot of stitching stuff for my birthday, is that the majority of my physical friends, like friends that I have that are people that I see every day, don't necessarily know that I cross stitch, because I've had a lot of flack for it in the past, particularly from people that were supposed to be my friends at school and just when I was growing up and stuff. So yeah, just a lot of the stigma that comes attached to being a stitcher annoys me. Anyway, question 2. What designer irritates you most and why? Jane Greenough really annoys me as a stitcher. Or as a designer. Probably because like Kate and Katie, and most people will say, there is no right or wrong way to cross stitch. If it makes you happy and it gives you an effect that you are pleased with, then do it. It works for you, and that's great. And her attitude always seems to be that there is a right way, there is a wrong way, and if you're not doing it her way, it's the wrong way. And I don't like that. And also her designs are very, very, very traditional, and I really don't like traditional cross stitch. What stitch irritates you and why? Back stitch. I love the effect of it. It looks amazing overall, but oh my god, why does it take so long? Ugh. Why is it that it always pierces through blocks on Ada as well? Yeah, so back stitch would be my answer to that. Specialty stitches I can't really say because I've never really tried them, and I'm itching to try them at some point. What irritates you most about non-stitches is question number 4. And why? I think the thing that irritates me about non-stitches is if you give them a present that you've put your heart and soul into making for them, they don't appreciate it. And you can, they look at it and they go, oh, you've got me something handmade. Or at least that's the reaction that I've had several times over. And it's like, yeah, I've handmade you something. I have picked the fabric. I have bought that fabric. I've bought all the threads that have made it. You have no idea how expensive some of those specialty ones are. There are most likely going to be beads on it. I have chosen out a pattern that speaks to me about the reason that I am friends with you, and that is your response. I think it's just the lack of understanding sometimes, and I understand that as a non-crafty person, they won't necessarily understand how much effort goes into something, but at least be grateful, you know? Be a bit courteous about it, maybe? I don't know. Question number 5. What irritates you most about other stitchers? Nothing, really. I think we're a really supportive community of people. I think other crafters are just as supportive. What I don't like is when other crafters, like people who do other crafts, like I know quite a few paper crafters through my mum, and one of her friends turned around and said, "Oh, why do you do cross stitch? Cross stitch is boring." And it was like, how dare you? That's my hobby. I think that card making is not my cup of tea. It doesn't speak to me at all. It infuriates me. I can't get to grips with it. But I would never turn around and say that your hobby is boring, because you don't think it's boring. You think it's interesting. So I think it irritates me when other crafters don't respect your choices. But I think as a whole, generally the community is very supportive. We all like to cheer each other on and spur each other on and congratulate each other when we finish something. We pick each other up when we're feeling down. We help banish those damn frogs and send them packing. You know, I think we're a supportive bunch and we really like to help each other. So I think not much irritates me about other stitches. But yeah, I think that was all of them. Thank you very much, Kate, Queen of Starts. That was a really fun tag to do. It really made me think about what I don't like about my hobby. Luckily, it's mostly like things that can be easily avoided. But yeah, so thank you very much, guys. I will be filming my haul video very, very shortly, although it is getting quite late, so I'm going to do it today. Because if I don't do it today, then it will just get held off again. But thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.